Okay, so today's video is going to be a 2-year review of the DJI Mavic. I actually pre-ordered this drone 2 years ago, well more than 2 years ago, before the drone came out. So when it did come out, I was one of the first people to get it. The DJI Mavic was my second drone I've ever owned. I had another off-brand drone. It didn't work very good. This was the first drone I got that had like return to home features that were working. Really great camera. The great thing about this drone is I've always had the same original parts. This is the original battery that came with it. I do have a second battery I bought when I bought the drone. It was a package deal from DJI. These are the same props that it came with 2 years ago. I've been using the same ones. They're in really great condition. I've never had to replace them. I never saw a need to. The important thing about the batteries that people may be wondering why I've had the same batteries for so long and never had to change them out is I charge them after every single use. I charge them immediately along with the controller as well. An important thing about the batteries is I still get the same amount of flight time as I did when I first bought the batteries, and I've probably charged them 50 times each already. I fly the drone a lot. I do commercials, I do private work, I do parties, I do events, I do government projects. So taking care of the batteries is super important. With this drone, I've used the same SD card for its entire life. A PNY 32 gigabyte high performance micro SD card. It's been the same SD card since I've owned it. And it's done really well. I take the card out when I need my videos, and then I put it back in fresh, clean, empty, and I never had an issue with it. Now, PNY makes really great, cheap SD cards, and they're super fast. Even with my big 4K cameras, I use PNY cards. They're really good. One of the biggest questions I get when people ask me, how have you had your drone for 2 years so far? The same one. Well, the important thing is I follow protocol when I fly. I make sure the drone has full connection to the satellites, a minimum of 9 like it requires for takeoff at all times. I make sure that the controller has full connection to the drone. If at any point the transmission starts to go down, I start walking towards the drone or running towards the drone. I mean, people have seen me run through parks because I lost connection with the drone, which doesn't happen too often, but it can. Things you need to look out for are buildings. Sometimes the signal gets thrown off when you fly between, a lot of buildings. Or trees. As soon as a tree starts to block you, boom, your signal can be gone with your drone. And it's important, that you need to be on higher ground of things that may be in the way. Maybe a tree is only 15 feet tall, but it's enough to block your connection to your drone. Probably the biggest problem that everybody has had, and I actually made another video about this problem earlier in the year, is that this lens that DJI produce with the Mavic, it's prone to get fogged up, like moisture gets inside real easily. I actually changed this lens a few months ago, and it's had no issues after that. I mean, it cost 20 bucks on eBay, I think, and I've never had another problem after, and the drone works perfectly fine again, just like when I bought it. So, great. Another problem is that the sensors on the drone are really good. So even when there's an obstacle and you can land your drone, it won't let you. You have to do like a forced landing, and then it makes you scared because now the drone's like, well, all right then, well, best of luck to you. I'm gonna land now. Another thing too is the drone catches a lot of attention, especially by law enforcement. And in some countries now they're making new laws to where drones are not allowed to be flown in certain areas. So you have to watch out for that. Probably one of the biggest problems that this drone has is the height limiter. DJI came out with a firmware, I think last year or this year, that made the max height at 500 meters. I get some government projects sometimes, and they give me special permissions to fly in certain areas above certain buildings and permissions to fly at certain heights. And the DJI doesn't let you. I've had this drone for 2 years now. And I'm glad I pre-ordered it because I was, one of the first people to put videos on YouTube. But also, I really enjoyed having this drone. And I don't see myself upgrading to DJI Mavic 2 anytime soon. This drone has done so well. I mean, if this one crashed tomorrow, I'll probably buy another used Mavic. Just, You know, I don't need to buy, you know, something great. I mean, I've fulfilled really great government contracts and private corporation contracts with this thing, and it turns out great footage. I'm sure the Mavic 2 has these really great features for the camera, but at this point, this is the drone to still have. I really do think so. You can probably find a used one for $500, and you know, you do a really great job with this drone. I wouldn't trade it, and if I did it again, if I had to, I would do it again. So for sure, Mavic, I wouldn't trade it for anything.